Welcome to RaspberrySky Straight Talking series. I'm delighted to introduce you to Jonathan Liu, the Director of Revenue Strategy and Marketing at GLH. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great, thank you. Before we kick off on the digital maturity subject, could you just give us a quick overview of GLH?
Sure. GLH Hotels has a portfolio of 18 addresses across the UK, mainly concentrated in London, with brands such as Amber, Hard Rock Hotel, and Thistle.
Great, thank you. And share with us what the current status is of your digital customer journey.
During COVID and the lockdown, we've taken the opportunity to really look at our full customer journey. We were quite antiquated in the past, lots of disparate systems, and we really didn't have a real customer digital journey that was seamless and looking customer centric. So we took this opportunity to look at everything that we needed to come out of this in a competitive state to make sure that we're focused on the customer primarily. And what we discovered was one of the key things that we lacked was good infrastructure. So that was network, that was door locks, it was everything that went together. And we've taken the opportunity while we've been locked down and the hotels are closed to actually refit a lot of our hotels with the technology infrastructure. So as we come out of this, we can put together that customer journey so much easier. Because what we want to be able to do is have an interaction on someone's device where they can check in, but also use that device to open their door, rather than having that process of coming to the hotel, picking up a piece of plastic, taking it to your room. We wanted to try and remove as much of that process or that glorified process out, so the experience is just smooth and seamless.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the work you've been doing as well is around your PMS interfacing with your CRM, correct?
Absolutely. We've actually engaged in a new CRM that can interact with all the different other systems that we have. It's so important that whatever we gather at a central level, understanding our guests, that we're able to pass that back to the operations, to the front desk, to housekeeping, to food and beverage, to really understand what the customer needs and wants. So we're better prepared for when they arrive and come to our hotels.
So the new proposition that you are developing, share a bit more about what sort of functionality you'll be able to enjoy.
Well, as part of it, we're upgrading our website and booking engine. That's really key to be able to get as much information about the customer's stay as possible so we can actually prepare for their arrival. As part of that, we're introducing an app, and the app will be able to also give information, allow check-in, take all that process away from the front desk and put it in the hands of the customer. So when they arrive at the hotel, we're able to allocate their room seamlessly and welcome them to the hotel and guide them to their room without having to go through anything at a tabletop.
Great. And the app itself, tell us, is that a downloadable app or is that a web app?
It'll be a downloadable app, and it will also cover off our food and beverage options. So when you're in any of the restaurants or bars, you'll be able to order through the app, look at the menu, order room service and have that delivered, as well as communicate with housekeeping or anyone on site that you may want to have engaged with.
And then when they check in online, will it be a hard check-in? Because there's been some debate around, is it a real check-in? Does the room get allocated? Does the folio get opened? Or is it just a soft check-in whereby somebody still has to manually, process that check-in at front office?
The plan is to have a two-step process. So a soft check-in 24 hours before, that will take credit card details, time of arrival, all those sort of information bits that we need. And then on the day of arrival, they'll be able to actually allocate their room when they're close to the hotel and then be able to pick up their key on their device as they come into the hotel.
Wow, this is pretty revolutionary, isn't it, for GLH, because you have some traditional properties, that, are well-known and renowned in London. So this is a complete game changer for you guys, huh?
It is, and one of the hardest parts has been how do we change the processes in the hotels from a front desk point of view and an operation point of view and bring our team along for the ride.
Yeah.
Being able to change those processes as an open hotel would have been impossible, to be honest. It would have been really difficult. And now that we've had the hotels closed, we're able to reassess everything, put the right training in place and actually bring our teams along for that journey and be able to change the entire experience and not just elements of that experience.
Yeah. So what's driving this? Is it to be in line with, you know, the comp set, or is this to differentiate, or what's the driver behind the investment that you're making?
Part of it is about competition. You see lots of new technologies coming out, and it's always hard to keep up to pace, especially of a business of our size compared to some of the larger international brands. But it's also for us to be able to really focus on the customer and make sure that we're delivering what our customers need and want. Quite often we'll get caught up in what the competitors are doing without really understanding what the customer needs. So we've done a lot of research. We've understood what our existing customers want, and part of that was part of the COVID security and safety. They don't want to be having close interactions with people. They want to be able to come in, know that they can go straight to their room and be safe and secure in their stay.
And I think you shared with me before when we chatted that you had a goal in terms of the percentage of your guests that would use your app and be contactless. Can you share that with us?
Well, ideally, we want to get to around 75% of our interaction to be through the app and to be contactless. But we don't want them to be just coming in the hotel and going straight to their room. We still want to greet them in the lobby, whether it's the doorman, whether it's a welcomer. We still want to have that welcome, but not have it as a part of process.
Yeah, and I guess post-COVID, there will be a post-COVID. It's about giving the customer choice, isn't it, in terms of how they want to interact with you on property, which is important.
Absolutely, and that choice comes down to all elements of the room's experience, the food and beverage. There are so many different restrictions and rules that are constantly changing. So to put something in print and put it in the room just doesn't work anymore. So to have an app that we can update with the very latest information, so it's in front of our customers at all times, makes sense.
And I think the other one is guest room management we talked about before, and I know you said that's something that's on the roadmap. So the ability to control your lights or your AC or your heating or your TV from your phone. From the research you've done, how sure are you that the guests really want that? Have you got some research that supports that, or?
What we found, there isn't a huge influence in terms of choosing a hotel to stay at, but in terms of returning to that hotel, it makes a huge difference. Having just the right in-room experience, so you can change the temperature to where you want, to have the right lighting. A lot more people are saying that they'll spend some more time in the room rather than in our sort of public areas. So we want them to be as comfortable as possible in that situation, so they can work, play, whatever they need to do in their room.
And where's the balance, Jonathan, between investing and putting in place something like this? Where is it around upselling and revenue generation? Is it around cost saving? Is it around delighting the customer? Or is it a bit of all of those? Or
I think it's a bit of all of it. We always look at our investments as part of customer satisfaction as well as revenue, and I think you have to get that balance. It's quite easy to go down the road of just looking at revenue returns and getting into a place where you just don't invest because you can't see a pound coming in through the next year. But overall, it leads to better customer satisfaction. Those customers are going to talk to other customers, so our acquisition of new customers, those costs should go down if we're able to get the word of mouth out there. So there is an investment part of it that is pound related, but we do have a strong focus on customer centricity.
Great. And so when can we expect to start experiencing this new digital customer journey at GLH? What's your sort of timeline?
Hopefully spring next year, as we start to reopen our hotels in London. Our new website is due to launch next April. We're introducing a new brand. Not much to be said at this stage, but next spring something very exciting will come to London. And what we're really trying to hope is bringing that whole journey as part of that new brand to make sure that it works and then roll out across the rest of our hotels towards the summer.
Well, it all sounds really exciting, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Been a pleasure.